Today's Callahan Show is sponsored by MyPillow. Go to mypillow.com and use code word Jerry for huge discounts. For example, you can get the standard MyPillow, which is normally $69.98 for only $19.98 with code word Jerry. I'd call that a huge discount. MyPillow is made in the USA, and it comes with a 10-year warranty. It's machine washable and dryable. It's the most comfortable pillow you will ever sleep on. Makes an excellent gift. Get it now, and you can support this show, and you can strike back against cancel culture. As you know, like us, Mike Lindell is constantly under attack from the cancel culture mob. By purchasing from MyPillow, not only are you helping this show, you're fighting back against cancel culture. MyPillow isn't in the big box stores anymore, so you can get factory direct pricing if you order from mypillow.com using code word Jerry.
This is the Jerry Callahan Show.
All right, today's the day to take a bow. If you were with me, because we were right, they were wrong. The dominoes are falling. The blue state governors are dropping their mask mandates. Fauci is even given in and saying this will end soon. The creepy Leanna Wynn, we will play you some of that, is given up. And today there is a White House briefing where the president, essentially, the administration, the regime, will throw the white flag and say, we're giving up. The pandemic will soon be over. That is great news. But let's not forget, they were wrong. We were right. Also, today, an amazing ad from Toyota about Colin Kaepernick. You're not going to believe the lies in this ad. It's just ridiculous. We'll play you that. Chris Cuomo wants $60 million from CNN. I'm not sure who to root for in that showdown. Eric Adams, he's got his priorities straight. The new police commissioner in New York City. He knows what crime-ridden New York City. He knows what he wants to get done. He wants everybody to eat their vegetables. That's important. And Mark Lai, you might not know who Mark Lai is. He's a commentator, or was a commentator for Sirius XM, a golf guy. He's out. He's out because he broke a rule, an important rule. He said he didn't like women's golf. Can't do that. We will tell you about that and a lot more on today's Callahan Show, brought to you by DCU. Do you love your car but hate your car payment? No problem. Refinance your car today with DCU, and they can help lower your monthly payment, lower your interest rate, or both. Applying is easy, and their loan experts will help you find the loan term and the payment that fits into your budget. Get out of that high-rate loan and get the interest rate and the payment you deserve from DCU. Learn more and apply today at dcu.org/refinance. Insured by NCUA. Membership required. All right. Carano's here, but he's going to lay back. He's going to lay back and let Mike. Mike is here. He's trying out. We said we're going to try out some potential replacements for Carano. He's all cocky because he thinks he's the best ever, and he knows his potential replacements are going to struggle, and he's going to enjoy it because that's what people do.
He laid down an absolute beautiful tutorial. He's a master behind the ones and twos. But yes, Montante is here to try to fill in his shoes as best I can. So look forward to it, Jerry. Let's have a good show.
You must have a nickname. You can't. I mean, is that you want to go by Montante? There's too many syllables.
So as I started my own show, I didn't want people, because the trolls are out there, more than anybody. So what I did is I changed my last name ends with an I. I switched it to an E to throw the trolls off my trail, so they'll never catch me.
So that's kind of like a stage name, Montante.
Yes, it's Montante. Now it's Montante.
Okay,
so
you'll never. What do your friends call you? They must call you Monty, right?
Yeah, Monty. Montante now, because people now call it as a joke. People that know me because they see the online presence and they mock me for it. But yeah, it's a lot of vowels, very Italian last name.
You must know, if you paid attention at all, that I've been railing against mask mandates, vax mandates, against lockdowns, shutdowns, school closings for almost 2 years now. It's my turn. It's my time to gloat. I was right. They were wrong. The insanity is coming to an end quickly, and it's coming to an end for a number of reasons. I think the first one, and we talked about it yesterday, is the polls. Democrats are looking at internal polls, and that's how they decide whether to abuse children or not. That's how soulless these people are. They say, let me check the polls. Should I continue to put these kids in the emergency room with suicidal thoughts or self-harm. If the polls say no, then I'll stop. If the polls say yes, I'll continue to drive children to the brink of suicide. That's how disgusting and despicable these people are. But the fact is, it's been 2 years. We've been right, they've been wrong, and they are giving up. And I got lots of evidence today that they are giving up. And I think number one on the list would be a White House press briefing later today. And I don't even know what time it is, but it doesn't matter because it'll start. If it involves Biden, it'll start like 3 hours late. And at some level, they would say, we're winding down. And you know what they'll do? And it'll be nauseating. They'll declare victory. Say, we've beaten the virus. We're in the clear. We're almost done here. It has nothing to do with things they did. It has nothing to do with measures Biden took. It has nothing to do with closing schools or shutting down business or vax mandates and kicking people out of the Marines, out of the military, off police forces. All of that was wrong. All of that was un-American, authoritarian nonsense. It never should have happened. It happened. History will look back, as I always say, it'll look back on these people with shame and just say, what did you do to our children? What did you do to our first responders, our cops? What made you think that made any sense? I was tweeting yesterday or retweeting a couple of videos of one guy at a school board meeting in, I forget where it is. I can get it. And the security guard just drags him out of his seat and physically yanks him out of the meeting because, he let his mask slip. And I'm thinking, half the country, they've already dropped the mask mandates. They're going to drop them everywhere, like in a matter of days, except Boston. Boston's going to be the last holdout. And they're going to look at that video and say, why were they roughing this guy up? Because he didn't wear a mask. Why was anyone wearing a mask? It was all theater from the beginning. And yet now we're supposed to listen to these people, these awful people who didn't care about kids, who certainly didn't care about the American economy or business or small business people. It's disgusting. I'm not ready to forgive. I'm certainly, as the Dixie Chicks sang, I'm not ready to forgive. Today it's gonna be nauseating. I don't even know if I could watch it with Jen Psaki sits and says, oh well, the numbers are looking better. Here's what you got yesterday and Monday. The last couple of days, you got signs that they're giving up. They're surrendering. They know that people have no more patience, no more tolerance for their theater, their mask theater, their vax mandates. I mean, I can't even get over the fact that we kicked people out of the Marines. We kicked people out of the Navy SEALs, the best of the best, because they wouldn't get an unnecessary injection. Do they get to go back in? Does anyone know?
The most nauseating part is if this vaccine worked like they said it did in the beginning, and you can get it, you'll get sick. You obviously can't spread it if you're not sick. Even if it worked 100% effective like they claim it did, that's still what it makes sense because people at the end of the day have a choice. My body, my choice, essentially. I know that's lazy and a little not exactly 100% comparable, but this vaccine doesn't even do that. They're making up stats to say how effective it is, and they keep moving the goalposts. We're kicking out people over that.
I said even when we thought it worked that it's crazy to mandate it and kick people, out of the military or off the police force, and then we found out it doesn't stop the spread. So you're just talking about self-preservation. And since when do we mandate that? I mean, do we mandate that you can't, eat Pop-Tarts?
Not yet. Not yet.
Or you can't drink Coke, or you can't, drink booze and drink yourself to death if you want to. I mean, that's kind of.
Well, they tried that once.
It's the whole point of freedom and liberty and individual choice. Mm-hmm. It was crazy then, and then we found out this could be the best example of just how obstinate, how stubborn, and these people were. And dishonest they were, because we found out the vaccine doesn't stop the spread. You could still get it. You could still give it. And they didn't change their tune one bit. They stuck to their guns as if the vaccine after we found out it spreads, And in some ways, it's more commonly spread among the vaccinated because there's so many more of them. After that, Biden went before the country and said it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated, a complete and total lie. And it was repeated by all his minions in the media. Well, those people now, and here's what they're doing now. They're sitting back and saying, how can I save some face? How can I claim victory? And it's disgusting. We'll get to Leanna Wen. I think we have to start, and there's no sound of this, but none other than Dr. Anthony Fauci, the biggest liar, the biggest fraud, a guy who made $1.7 million in 2019.
It's the highest paid government employee, right?
Yes, 2019, Beautiful. He made $1.7 million while encouraging Trump and then Biden to lock down the country, put people out of business, destroy small business. He was grabbing it with both hands. He's worth more than $10 million. Again, I recommend the Forbes story that runs down his finances. It's disgusting. Appearance fees everywhere, speaking fees everywhere, all over the country. He's a money-grubbing, lying piece of crap. Again, history will look back on the destruction that Fauci caused. There aren't many people in the history of the country who've done more damage to children, to the private sector, to the country. It's unfathomable that he's still on the job.
Jerry, can I intervene real quick on that? So you say history's going to look back at them and really expose them for the frauds they were. The goalposts keep moving. Who's going to be the ones telling the history? Because they're silencing people that are speaking the truth.
And well, that's going to be an ongoing battle. Obviously, you're going to have liars and frauds like John Meacham and these other alleged historians. They will be telling the lies about Fauci. But I do think there are a lot of voices out there. I mean, we know they try to silence the loudest ones like Rogan and Tucker, but there'll be enough people. And I think you're seeing it now in real time. You're seeing people who were submissive, who were complying, who were doing everything Fauci told them to do, who were washing their vegetables and staying 6 feet apart from their loved ones and not letting their family members into family dinners at holidays, like Carano had to sit outside in the cold while his vaccinated family, got to have Christmas dinner.
I'm with you there, Carano. I didn't go.
That's going to be, people are going to look back and say, can you believe we did that? I mention this all the time. I'll mention it again. We have a governor, an absolute fraud in Charlie Baker, a coward who is waiting with his finger in the wind to see what everyone else does, who doesn't take a bold stand on anything, who shut down playgrounds, who took down rims from basketball courts, who put fences around skateboard parks because of public health. I mean, these people have been wrong about everything. Fauci, yesterday, I believe this came out in the Financial Times, said the mask mandate could end soon and the full-blown pandemic is almost over. He said, if you're a healthy 30-year-old, get this part, you will only need to get a booster shot every 4 or 5 years. The guy won't even give that up. If you're a healthy 30-year-old, everyone knows, you're done. You're done. No more boosters, no more shots. You're done. You're getting through this. But let's get to Leanna Wen. Leanna Wen is, if you don't know who this is the super creepy TV doctor from China. She's 39 years old, the former head of Planned Parenthood, so she really cares about kids. And she has been the leading authoritarian on TV. Among TV doctors, there's not a shutdown, not a lockdown, not a mandate she has not been in favor of. Just for a quick review, she said she compared the unvaxxed to drunk drivers, said they're like drunk drivers because they endanger us all. Even after we knew the vaccine didn't stop the spread. She wanted the government to mandate to stop unvaccinated people from, get this, leaving their houses. She thought the unvaccinated should not be allowed to travel, not be allowed to travel outside the state, not be allowed to fly. She actually said they should not be allowed to leave their houses. People who like like Carano, like Kyrie Irving, like Novak Djokovic, shouldn't be able to leave their houses. This is an insane authoritarian who left China, but China never really left her. Her impulse is to crack down on people and deny any and all individual rights. Well, and you know what? She's obviously on CNN all the time. She smiles while she talks about these authoritarian measures. This week, she changed her tune completely. And I don't know how this works. I don't even have a theory. Maybe you do. Montante. Do they get an email? I mean, does the White House have an email list? Does Fauci or one of his people, or does Psaki or Susan Rice or Klain or whatever? The media just falls into line, as we know. CNN, MSNBC, people like this, Leana Wen, and also blue state mayors and governors. They all start doing the same thing. They all start saying, we're going to drop masks in schools right now. The Boston Globe yesterday had an editorial calling for an end for mask mandates in schools. Now, the only people in the country more authoritarian, more who hate liberty and freedom more than Leana Wen are the Boston Globe editorial writers. The idea that the Globe is against mask mandates, they don't care about science. They love these kind of things. They love anything that denies freedom and liberty and individual rights. If they're saying time to lift the mandate, somebody
that's
out
coming
there
from somewhere.
And I don't know if it's just an email, quick email. Hey, the polls are terrible. We're giving up on masks. We're going to stop abusing kids, and they all just fall in line. But this creep, Leana Wen, goes on and starts talking about ending mask man. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and she literally talked about a couple things, and so did Fauci, by the way. Natural immunity, that was verboten. You weren't allowed to mention it. You weren't allowed to mention healthy living, losing weight, all these things. You weren't allowed to mention the psychological toll on children. Fauci doesn't allow that. And people like Leana Wen fell in line. Yesterday, or Monday and yesterday, she started talking about ending the mask and making individual choices. She actually talked about one-way masking. And I'm telling you, it stuck me in my tracks. She says, if you really want to protect yourself, you can wear a mask, a good fitting mask, and you'll be all set. And I'm thinking, what the hell had changed? That's the same thing I said friggin' a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. If you have a good mask on, and you believe in masks, what do you care whether I have a mask on?
It's insane.
She admits that now. This woman that wouldn't hear anything like that, and I'm watching, I'm saying, wow, that is one soulless, dark-hearted person. She knows the truth. She knew it all along, and yet she went for the crackdowns and lockdowns and shutdowns because, A, it served the purpose of the regime, and B, she just loves those kind of things. It's absolute insanity that we're now allowed to talk about one-way masking. Now, if you have a good-fitting mask, you don't necessarily care what the other person at the grocery store is wearing. Where the hell has that been? That's it's fundamental. And yet we weren't allowed to talk about it. Beyond that, people now can say things and matter-of-factly can say things that if you said them 6 months ago would get you kicked off social media.
Conspiracy.
We have reached this point of utter insanity that people like this, like Fauci and Wen and all these governors and Phil Murphy, Ned Lamont, and can look in the camera and say, "Yeah, I think we don't really need masks anymore." And you're going, "Wait a second. Why did children ever need masks? They didn't. Why should schools have ever been closed? They shouldn't have been." And yet these frauds, these liars, these scumbags are all falling in line because of polls. Because of polls.
And we're not even 6 weeks away from dark winter of death,
right?
For the unvaccinated.
Yeah, that's looming.
That's from Biden.
That's a good point by you, Carano. I hate to say it, but
one of many.
That was what, December?
That was right. It was the holidays. It was like right
December. We're heading for a dark winter of hospitalization and of severe illness and death.
Yeah.
You know why he said that? Polls. Scare everybody, they'll comply. It had nothing to do with forecasts or science.
But
here's the amazing thing.
It works. And Jerry, I got news for you. That works. So I'm not vaccinated like Matt. And my mother, who's not really into politics, and she would always lean right. She sent me that clip on Reddit, and she's telling me, she said, "Hey, Michael, like, I love you. Like, you need to get vaccinated. Like, it's going to be spreading. It's colder." She's like, she was correct on this. She's like, "You're a little overweight. You may not be best equipped to, get it." I got it literally a week later, day after Christmas. I had a headache for 2 days. And that was it. So I survived this winter of death. So, listen, it's not over yet, though.
And you have natural immunity, and we're allowed to talk about that now. But let's get to the best part. She said Monday, and I think it was with Anderson Cooper. I don't know, one of the CNN people who haven't been fired for grabbing the help. Or
not many left.
One of the CNN people who's not a pedophile was with Leanna Wynn. And she said, quote, "The science has changed." Can I just say this as simply as possible? She's a friggin' liar. She is a liar. The science hasn't changed. The science has not changed. The polls changed. The politics changed. The wind changed. She's making that up. The science didn't change. And by the way, I thought we weren't allowed to talk about science changing. When you talk... when Robert Malone or Dr. McCullough says, we looked at this a different way and we have a different view of this, they get banned. There was only one thing. It was monolithic. You could just say, Fauci's right, everyone else is wrong, and if you dare disagree, we'll shut you up. Well, this creep, this monster, Leanna Wynn, said the science has changed. And
you want to hear it from your friend?
Sure, let's listen to this. I mean, I have trouble. I have to admit, guys, she drives me nuts. This woman she has an evil streak that you can feel it. It kind of oozes from her pores. She smiles.
Yeah, the smile is
the same smile she had when she ran an organization that was devoted to aborting children. This woman is a monster, but we're supposed to take our cues from her and say, whoa, the pandemic said, we can take the masks off now. The creep from CNN says it's okay. But let's listen to this monster.
There was and is a time and place for pandemic restrictions, but when they were put in, it was always with the understanding that they would be removed as soon as we can. And in this case, circumstances have changed. Case counts are declining. Also, the science has changed. We know that vaccines protect very well against Omicron, which is the dominant variant. Everyone 5 and older have widespread access to vaccines. And we also know about one-way masking, the idea that even if other people around you are not wearing masks, if you wear a high quality mask, that also protects you, the wearer, too. And so in this case, I don't think anyone really is saying that no one should ever wear masks, but rather that the responsibility should shift from a government mandate imposed from the state or the local district of the school. Rather, it should shift to an individual responsibility by the family, who can still decide that their child can wear a mask if needed.
You want to hear more from her, or have you heard enough?
Was I right? Is it Anderson Cooper she's with?
No, she's speaking with this guy. I'm not sure this. Yeah, he's not Anderson Cooper. Not the Silver Fox, but it doesn't matter. She's just up there spouting her nonsense.
This is the last thing she cared about for the last 2 years. The last thing she considered was individual rights. They never mattered. And this one-way masking, why is it different now? You monster, than it was a year and a half ago. What changed? She's a liar. The science didn't change. The politics changed, which tells you how cynical, how sinister these people are. This is the woman who's been encouraging every draconian measure. Again, she said the government should stop the unvaccinated like you two murderers from leaving your houses. And now she's saying, hey, things have changed. She's a liar. Someone told her that the polls look bad, and they do. The parents are revolting, and they do. That, by the way, American truckers are looking at Canada and saying, we got to do that. The Canadian truckers, those heroes, are changing everything. And we'll get to them. I just want to finish up with these monsters because I'm probably getting my hopes up with this White House briefing because yesterday, Jen Psaki, said, no, we're still all in on the masks. It's because, the CDC said so. We're still in on the masks. Do you know anybody who's honestly in on the masks still? Anyone that wants kids masked still? It feels so over.
I got news for you. It's so my girlfriend's sister's a teacher in Perth Amboy, not the nicest part of New Jersey. And she's one of the few, right, and it's kind of like a very underground thing there, people that are conservative minded. And she has teachers that encourage multiple masks and will really, honest to God, be in the middle of a lesson, stop and yell at a kid. And these kids go to her class like, miss, so-and-so got yelled at because his mask went down. He got sent to the office. So there are public school teachers.
Well, sure. I mean,
they're
public school. These are just, they're fanatics. These are cult members. Hell, the head of the head of the teachers union, Randy Weingarten, still says we don't want to remove masks. She's still pushing for more vacation time for her members because that's her number one goal. But I don't think a lot of parents of second graders are saying, I still want to wrap my kid's face in cloth. No, I mean they know it doesn't help, and B, they know it hurts. I mean, it's not like it's just some neutral thing. It hurts. We've gone over it before. I'm going to keep looking at the story in front of me. 51% increase in girls going to the emergency room with suicidal thoughts or self-harm. 51%. It is ruining children, and parents know it. People like Leanna Wynn, who made her name destroying children, she doesn't care. Randy Weingarten, I don't think has children. She doesn't care. I mean, they don't care about kids. That's one of the great, I guess I said yesterday, it's one of the good things to come out of the pandemic is people like this have been exposed. We now know the teachers unions don't give a shit about children. They never have, but it's become clear. And I think parents have revolted. It started in Virginia. It's gone around the country. The places dropping mask mandates are, New Jersey, Connecticut, Delaware, Oregon. These are seriously blue states, blue places. Obviously, red states, they've never gone through this nonsense. They've lived normally for, the last 2 years. But we're holding out in LA. LA is my favorite. They dropped the mask mandate, except for schools.
Yes.
So,
makes sense.
So the least vulnerable people, the kids who aren't going to get affected at all by COVID, have to continue with this theater. But the 400-pound guy,
Stacey Abrams
going through the drive-through at Burger King, she can drop the mask mandate. And we have somebody, and Carano and I have talked about this a lot. Michelle Wu in Boston, our young new mayor, who
another Harvard superstar,
just an absolute fanatic. She will be the last one in the country to drop all the theater. Although I have to say the vax mandate, largely because of me and my tweet pointing out that restaurants aren't taking it seriously, is failing miserably. Nobody's enforcing it. I've gotten a lot of
compliments on your dog.
No, a lot of response from people who are saying same deal. We went to a restaurant, we went to a concert. Nobody actually looks at the vax cards. They don't have time. They're the guy at the restaurant I went to was like 22 years old, busy as hell. He's going to sit there and go through the numbers to see that it matches, the name matches my license. And that's true. I don't even show a license, so I can show anybody's vax card. It's just so ridiculous. Everybody knew it. We said it. We were right. They were wrong. It feels good in that way, but I just beg people, don't forget. Do not forget what people like Leanna Wynn, Dr. Fauci, Joe Biden, Michelle Wu, Charlie Baker, don't forget what they did to not just kids in schools, but small businesses, what they did to this country. It's something that we should remember forever, and we should say, we're never going to let that happen again. I'm hoping, seriously though, I hope they drop all the mandates, the mask, the vax, before the U.S. truckers have to get it going into motion in their own convoy, because what the truckers in this country could do is 1,000 times more damaging, effective than the Canadian guys.
1,000%.
I mean, and you know what else? U.S. truckers won't be nearly as well behaved. The joke in Canada is that there's a campaign from Trudeau and his toadies in the media and the American media to paint the truckers as,
misogynist, racist. We heard him the other day.
violent. They're actually calling them insurrectionists and seditionists. There's a montage Tom Elliott has, Grabian, of all the media calling them seditionists, insurrectionists, Nazis. Trudeau on the whatever, it's the House of whatever, Parliament, wherever he speaks. Trudeau said that they were Nazis and people with Confederate flags. Those are plants. There are no Nazis. There's no violence. There's not an insurrection. It's guys who want to do their jobs, who want the country to get back to normal, and they are winning. They are winning. They're changing things. In certain provinces, they're dropping mask mandates and vax mandates, and they're going to do it nationwide because of these wonderful truckers. And there's a great video from Ottawa today where they banned people from carrying gas cans.
I saw that.
Did you see? So people, like 1,000 people showed up, walked down the street with gas cans, and there's nothing the cops could do. They can't arrest them all. And there's already been a group formed, I think in California, where they're going to start and they're going to drive to DC. If they do that, man, if they really mobilize, first of all, truckers can do more damage, have more an effect than anybody, whether it's, you name it, cops, firemen, even medical nurses, doctors. If they take action here, peaceful protest, they can bring a country to its knees, and it'll be too bad. I mean, I don't want my grocery store to get wiped out. I don't want traffic. But they're doing it for a righteous reason, a righteous cause. They're trying to stop these immoral vax mandates. They don't let these guys cross the border.
They can't
without vax papers. Guys who do their job all alone in a truck all day and night. They're not allowed to.
On the road 3 to 4 weeks at a time. Now, the interesting thing I think about this when I try to think of the dynamics, I know you understand why they're doing it and how them really disrupting the supply chain like that needs to be done. But if you have the mainstream media, you have your favorite athletes, politicians framing these guys, hey, you know why this is so expensive? It's on these extremists. What's the public perception going to be then? Because we see the games being played, but is that going to be the majority of Americans?
I don't think it worked. I think you can paint them as extremists and violent insurrectionists, and people are laughing at you. People are laughing at you, Trudeau, or laughing at you, Allison Camerata or Joe Scarborough. They're laughing at you. They can see. They know they know why the truckers are doing it. They support them. There's no Nazis. They're not violent. They're not seditionists. That's a lie. People are laughing at you. You're being exposed, and it's a wonderful thing. And if it comes to the United States, it's going to be wild. Hopefully, it won't have to. Hopefully, they don't have to. Hopefully, the forces currently at play will succeed in ending the madness before the truckers have to take action. But boy, if they do, I just wonder where people go, get their jobs. I mean, cops who got fired, they're going to get their jobs back now.
I hope so. I mean, there has to be some class action, settlements. But if that did happen, Jerry, and you were to celebrate. Let me see how I do this. If you're going to celebrate with a drink, would there be anything in particular that you might celebrate with?
Maybe my favorite tequila. Before I get to my favorite tequila, I have a question I want you to ponder. And maybe they'll answer it at the press briefing today at the White House, but I still don't know the answer to this. Are you allowed to take your mask off to smoke your free crack pipe? I mean, the government issued crack pipe. Do you have to leave your mask on can you leave your mask on while you smoke your government issued crack pipe?
Yeah. That's fine.
It's just a question I've been pondering. I tell you, Karana, we were ahead of the curve. We did the story yesterday, and all day on every channel, the free crack pipe story. It is pretty bizarre when you think about it. The president of the United States, and again, it's not. I think
it's personal to him.
That story, more than any others, shows he's not in charge. Like Joe Biden, he's a buffoon. He's a hardcore liberal. But there's no way he would say, let's give crack pipes to marginalized people. It's just so insane that it could only be from like a real radical, crazy, like a Michelle Wu type, a Harvard radical. There's no way Joe Biden, 79-year-old Joe Biden, plus he knows the damage crack could do. He sees it every
personally,
day with his total loser.
Smartest guy he knows, right?
Person he knows, Hunter Biden. But it's an insane idea, and everybody's laughing at the White House. Maybe we'll get asked about it today and have to defend it. But to achieve equity, you must give crack pipes. By the way, why don't you just give crack? Where are they? Shouldn't you give crack to marginalized communities? People of color.
They already put it there, so they have access to the crack that's been placed there to start the war on drugs way back when. So now free crack pipes, no issue.
In the name of fairness and equity, they want to give crack pipes to marginalized crackheads. But another interesting story. Hey, we got to get to this Colin Kaepernick Toyota ad. I heard this. I couldn't believe it. You're not going to believe it. Hang in there and listen to this commercial for Toyota, especially people with a connection to law enforcement, cops, family of cops, friends of cops, kids. I want you to listen to this and tell me that Toyota is on your side. It's ridiculous. But first, let me tell you what I'm going to do to celebrate the end of the pandemic, which may be today, may or may not be. It's coming soon. I'm going to sit down and have a siempre on the rocks. That's what Carano does. It was supposed to be my siempre, but I'm such a nice guy, Monty, that I let Carano keep the siempre. And that's some real perks that come with this job. You get yourself a bottle of siempre now and then. Siempre was founded in 2015 by two entrepreneurs, Alex and Monica. They took their life savings, they pumped it into this because they wanted to make the best tequila out there, and they did. They figured it was their favorite. The world might agree, and it had to be good because they knew because they were drinking lots of it after they won a few awards and they put in all the hard work. Siempre has grown into over 20 markets around the world. If you're looking for it, you can catch it on the road, wherever you're traveling. Ask for Siempre. It's available. Spread the word. Tell their story. This is the best. It's won many awards, tequila awards. It's made in a small Mexican town called Tequila. Doesn't that work out great? It made it in Tequila. They started this company with their life savings and they put it on a credit card. One of the owners, Alex, he designed the label. It's a pretty cool label. Siempre, you know what it means? It means always. The roses on the label symbolize beauty in both life and death, good and bad. It's made using volcanic spring water. That's important. That's the best. Famous people drink it, but they don't endorse it. They don't need celebrity endorsers. Siempre is so good. They want you to try it, and they want you to be your own celebrity. Ask for Siempre at your local wine and spirit store or find it online at shop.siempre.tequila.com. Get that? Shop.siempre, that's SIEMPRE, tequila.com. All right, let's get to MDH hearing aid. Do you ever have someone in your family? Maybe it's you. You're watching TV. You're always asking them to turn it up. Maybe you're sitting around the dinner table or you're out to dinner somewhere, a loud place, and it's always what? Say that again. Can't hear you. What? Can't hear you. Well, you know what? They might need some help, and this is the place to go. MDHearingAid.com. Did you know 9 out of 10 people still buy their hearing aids from clinics and pay $5,000 or more, even though a much more affordable option exists? I never knew they cost that much. Well, they don't have to. MD Hearing Aid is here to help. Check them out. MD Hearing Aid is an FDA-registered rechargeable hearing aid that costs a fraction of what typical hearing aids cost. MD Hearing Aid Volt Plus model costs over 80% less than clinic hearing aids. MD Hearing Aid was founded by an ENT surgeon who saw how many of his patients needed hearing aids but couldn't afford them. He made it his mission to develop a quality hearing aid that anyone could afford. If you forget to take off your Volt Plus in the shower, no big deal. It's water resistant. Plus, it's rechargeable with battery life that lasts up to 30 hours. So how do they make these hearing aids for a fraction of the cost of clinic hearing aids? Since about 95% of the people who need a hearing aid only require a few settings, MD Hearing Aids simplified the need for certain components not needed by most people. Plus, they cut out the price hiking middleman. MD Hearing Aid has brought affordable hearing to over 600,000 satisfied customers. Plus, they offer a 45-day risk-free trial with 100% money-back guarantee so you can buy with confidence. So get clinic-level care for 80% less with MD Hearing Aid. Go to mdhearingaid.com and use promo code JERRY to get their buy one, get one for $299.99 each when you buy a pair. Plus, they're adding a free extra charging case, a $100 value just for listeners of the Callahan Show. So head to mdhearingaid.com and use our promo code Jerry and get their buy one, get one for $299.99 each when you buy a pair deal. All right, let's get to, oh man, we've got a bunch of things to get to, but I want to get to this Toyota/Kaepernick story because it's incredible. Here's what you have to understand about Colin Kaepernick. Almost everything you hear is a lie, unless you hear it from me, unless you hear it from certain places like Matt Walsh, who hat tip Matt Walsh. That's where I saw this, heard this first, and couldn't believe it. It gets very little coverage. Maybe it will. Maybe things will pick up now that the word's getting out. But Toyota, you think of it as obviously a big company, big corporation. I never thought it particularly political. I have a Toyota Tundra. I like it. No, I'm telling you, I'm done. I'm not getting another one. Let me tell you, because this company is not on my side. And I say, I shout out to the cops or friends of cops or family of cops, because if you say Colin Kaepernick, is a hero, is a civil rights leader, you're not paying attention. You're lying. I've gone over it many times, but Kaepernick celebrates cop killers. Kaepernick hates cops. That's well documented if you look in the right places. If you're just getting your info from Netflix or from ESPN, you think he's some kind of, righteous individual, a martyr, a well-paid martyr. He's a fraud. He's a liar. He's a scumbag, all right, who hates cops, who loves cop killers. I don't know how you can be a worse person. I mean, I'm not saying he's a criminal, but he literally celebrates people who murder cops. That's the guy we're talking about. Toyota decides to do a commercial, This is a radio commercial, I believe. Is there a TV?
No, there's video to it. So I wonder if they're releasing this now and they're going to release this sucker during the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. If they do this during the Super Bowl, I'm telling you, I will never set foot in a Toyota. I don't care if it's the last, the last whatever car at the airport. I'm not getting in a Toyota ever again. But let's listen to Toyota pay homage to Colin Kaepernick. It's sickening.
Toyota proudly presents In Their Own Words. Colin Ren Kaepernick, a two-time Super Bowl quarterback and NFL record holder, first knelt on one knee during the national anthem in 2016 as a sign of respect to the military and a symbol of protest against police shootings.
To bring awareness and make people, realize what's really going on in this country. There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust. People aren't being held accountable for. And that's something that needs to change. That's something that, this country stands for: freedom, liberty, justice for all. And it's not happening for all right now.
He changed the world and sparked a peaceful form of protest that continues around the world. In Their Own Words, proudly presented by Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Oh, okay. Let's go play. Let's go here. How many lies did they tell in that 1 minute commercial?
Well, what records does he hold? I don't.
I was just
records. Maybe it's college records, I guess.
Carano, just looking for a record that he held.
Fastest quarterback bench for Matthew Gabbert. I believe he holds that record. I'm be proud of.
I only remember one Super Bowl. Do you guys remember other Super Bowls? Because I don't remember more than one Super Bowl.
It confused me. I remember that's the game where the lights went out. Right? Remember they only said at halftime was the lights. They had lights issues.
This is Toyota. There's not some, like ESPN person that worships Kaepernick. Toyota with a big staff of whatever, PR people, advertising people, and they got him going to 2 Super Bowls, unless I missed one.
I don't remember.
Mistake here.
No, he went to one. It was
he lost to Baltimore.
Right, exactly. The other one he didn't get in 2013. They didn't make it. They
so
lost.
He went.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
He said he's a record holder. I can't find his records. And this is the most maddening thing. Maybe you guys can help me with this one. He knelt during the anthem as a sign of respect to the military. Now, Toyota just made that up out of thin air. I don't even remember anyone even alleging that, claiming that. A sign of respect to the military? First of all, he has no respect for the military. Secondly, he's never said that. I mean, he doesn't say much. He spends more time in hiding than Joe Biden. But when did that come from? That out of sign of respect to the military?
It's just pure gaslighting, and it's their way. So I think they kind of went back when this all, started brewing. The one defense that people always had for him was, hey, listen, you're American, right? This is freedom of speech. This is what people died overseas for. So I think they kind of took that angle and spun it this way. A few years later in 22, Toyota's rolling out that. So that's the only way I think they could kind of come from that, but it's just pure gaslighting. And if you ran this commercial by him when this originally happened, I don't think he greenlights this, because I don't think he's like, I don't want to be associated with this. I don't want to be associated with this country. I don't want to be associated with this military. So that just shows how he's a shapeshifter. He just, making money.
Like everything else, Toyota just paid him. He's the world's highest paid martyr. I mean, Brian Flores is hoping to take that prize.
He's going for it.
But I'm looking, I say this all the time, but I want people to know the name Joanne Chesimard. Joanne Chesimard, also known as Assata Shakur. Assata Shakur is a murderer. She murdered a New Jersey state trooper, I believe, named Werner Forrester. I'm gonna double check to make sure I have the name right. He was begging for his life. She assassinated him, shot him in the head, killed him. He's a guy, he had family, kids, everything else. We know, gone over this story before. She escaped to Cuba, got asylum in Cuba from Castro. I believe she's still there. Let me just check.
That's another country that Kaepernick's fond of.
Oh, he loves Cuba, and that was one of the great when he was confronted, when he was forced to talk to the media, when he played, and a Miami reporter grilled him.
Oh, that was beautiful.
And he didn't know what to say because he's dumb and he's being used. Yes, New Jersey State Trooper Werner Forster murdered him in cold blood. Since then, Colin Kaepernick on Facebook wishes her a happy birthday. Colin Kaepernick donated, I believe it was $20,000 to a charity called the Assata Shakur, Sisters of Assata Shakur, a charity named after this woman whose claim to fame was assassinating a cop. Colin Kaepernick, as we know, wore socks with pigs on them. He tweeted out that cops today are no different than slave hunters that hunted down escaped slaves. He hates cops. He hates this country, and it's just amazing. It's amazing that we have to live this lie because, Black Lives Matter. By the way, they said he sparked a worldwide protest. He didn't, but he certainly supported a worldwide protest that caused billions of dollars of damage, got at least 30 people murdered, 2,000 cops injured. Why is that such a noble legacy? I mean, the guy is a piece of God. How do you not acknowledge the fact that he hates cops and celebrates cop killers? It's kind of simple to me. It's not that complicated. He has always hated cops. He lies about cops. He lies about them hunting unarmed black kids. It's just a lie. He causes great damage, great division, and yet a corporation like Toyota wants him, make him out to be Rosa Parks. It's sickening. But anyway, a couple more things to get to. Am I supposed to root for Chris Cuomo when he's trying to get $60 million?
It's a tough one.
I can't do it. I can't root for him or Zucker. But all the CNN people are talking about Jeff Zucker being a genius. He sure don't seem like a genius to me, because he coordinated with the Cuomo brothers to help Andrew Cuomo. They literally organized the press conferences, the famous press conferences in the spring of 2020. They coordinated together to get the maximum FaceTime on CNN.
Attention on him, yep.
They helped him. They advised him because Cuomo's girlfriend used to work for, Zucker's girlfriend used to work for Cuomo. So the reason they allegedly fired Chris Cuomo was because he unethically worked with the governor of New York, the corrupt, disgraced governor of New York, and they said they can't do that. It's unprofessional. So you fire Cuomo, He knows Zucker did the same thing. And you thought he was going to just walk away quietly and you don't pay him. So he's going to sue. They owe him 18 million. He wants 60. I don't know why. Future earnings, I guess. Future earnings. He's going to get a lot of money, which is too bad. My favorite part of the story, by the way, is Don Lemon turned on him. They used to have this love fest. They had this famous crossover. I think it was actually like tweeted out or podcasted out. The crossover lasts like 10 minutes. And Don Lemon would say, I love you, brother. I love you, man. Oh, you're the best. And they would fawn over each other. It was kind of silly. Don Lemon is now turned on Cuomo and said, why should he, when he was so unprofessional, get millions from this company? And Zucker and Lemon loves Zucker, and Zucker hasn't said anything. But it sure sounds to me like Cuomo has a case because he got fired for doing the same thing his boss did. But I don't know. I can't pick a side on
Cuomo's camp is coming out and saying that they want Megyn Kelly-like money.
I think Megyn walked away with 60 million.
Exactly. So that's where that 60 million figure comes in. It just makes you think that he knows that they had just reason to fire him, but for him not just to take the 18 million, which is not chump change, for him to go after 60 million, he must have dirt on Zucker, maybe on Lemon. So he's doing this for a reason. So I love sitting back and watching how this is going to play out. I would love to see these two get after each other. So, let's see what
they will. And there's lots of people who are connected to these people. So there'll be lots of gossip. Page 6 has the latest story. They'll be all over it. And we're here for it. All right, let's quickly get to Mark Lai. Let me do Shea Concrete. All right, Monty, I'm going to do Shea Concrete, and then we're going to do Mark Lai, and then we're going to get out of here. All right, Shea Concrete, let me tell you what you can do this spring for your home. You want a project to improve your home, to improve the value of your home? This is it. If you're building a new home or you're remodeling an old place, even more important, an old place needs an upgrade, here you go. Shea Concrete has great values with designs that will fit your home. Precast concrete steps is the answer. They have many options available in concrete, or you can customize with stone or brick. A new staircase will dramatically upgrade the front entrance of your home, giving you much better curb appeal. They remove the old stairs, bring in the new ones, and just like that, when they're done, you have a great-looking new front entrance that will add value. It is not an expense. It is an investment in your home. It is an upgrade in your home, and all you got to do is go see Shea Concrete. They will do the rest with one phone call or one visit. Shea will deliver a turnkey installation experience, and in a few hours, you'll get a brand spanking new front entrance to your home. You can learn more about this at SheaConcrete.com, where you can also apply for a job. Shea Concrete is hiring. They're always hiring because business is booming and people love working for this company. It's a great company that treats their people right. Right now, they have between 15 and 20 open positions. These are career opportunities for all different types of people and skill sets. Only one requirement: you must pass a drug test. Hey, how hard can that be? Pass a drug test, unless you're, getting your free crack pipe from Joe Biden. All right, most people don't know who Mark Lai is. I had to double check it, even though I love golf, watch golf. And let me quickly really highly recommend a golf story in Golf Digest, but you can get it online by a guy named Daniel Rappaport, on this guy, Morgan Hoffman, who was a stud golfer a few years ago, young guy, fresh, rookie on tour. Then he got some physical issues and just went off the grid, and they go and visit him in the mountains of Costa Rica. A fascinating story. It's a long read, but a great read if you're into that kind of thing. Mark Lai he's been on Golf Channel. He's been a golf commentator. He used to play. I don't know how good he was. I don't remember. But he had a show on Sirius, talking PGA, talking golf. Well, he does no longer have a show on Sirius. And he committed I don't have that much sympathy for him, because while he didn't do anything that should get you fired or canceled, he should have known you can't go there. Mark Lai doesn't enjoy women's sports, doesn't enjoy WNBA like 99% of sports fans. He doesn't enjoy the LPGA like most sports fans. It doesn't do it for him. He admitted that on the air. You can't say that. He literally, to keep his job, he was required to lie and say, "Oh yeah, I love the WNBA, I love the LPGA," and he didn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
And now he's fired. But let's listen to Mark Lyon again. I don't know about you guys. I don't have that much sympathy because he should have known you can't do this today.
No.
And he did it. He went there and he lost his job.
This audio sounds like it got leaked, like someone secretly recorded him and then leaked it after he just got done lying about the WNBA. So yeah, let's take a listen. It's pretty interesting.
Tour to me is a completely different tour than it was 10 years ago. And I don't know if you were working that tour back then that long ago, Craig, but you couldn't
2011 to 2016.
You couldn't pay me to watch. You really couldn't, because I couldn't relate at all. It's kind of like, if you're a basketball player, and I'm not trashing anybody, please don't take it the wrong way, but I saw some highlights of ladies basketball. Man, is there a gun in the house? I'll shoot myself to watch that. I love watching the men's basketball. I love watching the men's golf. I never used to like watching ladies golf, but I will tell you this. I've been up close watching these ladies play because I used to have a big function every year called the Lucas Cup, and I'd have LPGA players and PGA Tour players.
Good luck getting some WNBA.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, no offense, I'd rather kill myself.
He would, right. I guess,
no offense.
If he just said, I don't enjoy the product, I don't know if he survives going there and saying, I'm going to kill myself, a little over the top, but he's out of a job. He's out of a job because he doesn't like women's sports. What if someone today says, I can't stand watching these Olympics? I mean, I guess
has anybody watched the Olympics?
Not many. I think people are watching it like a car wreck on the side of the highway. That ski jumping course,
unbelievable,
next to the nuke plant,
unbelievable,
is the most amazing visual from these games. And then seeing some of the athletes tweet out or post pictures of their meals, and it looks like something. It looks like something you would feed someone in a concentration camp when you're committing genocide. They're giving the same meals to the Uyghurs as they're giving to the freestyle skiers. But it's a disaster so far. People are getting COVID. People are miserable. The only good thing is the woman figure skater who denounced her U.S. citizenship and became and skated for China, fell twice and finished last. Unfortunately, the skier, Gu, who did the same thing, won. She won for, the motherland, China, even though she's an American who grew up here and is going to Stanford, I believe. She skated for China and won the gold, which is too bad. But I mean, I'm not watching. I flip by it and just say, are there really people getting into this? Because usually these suspense builds as you go along when it comes to the Olympics. And by the end of 2 weeks, people can be wrapped up in it. But it just looks like a miserable place to be. It doesn't look, there's no good scenic views. It looks like a disaster, and it's all the fault of the Olympic Committee for putting the damn games in this communist hellhole, which, by the way, doesn't have any snow. It's the first Winter Olympics ever conducted completely on fake snow. And any skier will tell you that's not the same. It's not as good, but that doesn't matter. The IOC, like so many other international organizations, is in the tank for the CCP. But
do you think we could have a situation kind of like that kind of went away from the forefront of the news where, what was it? The tennis player, Chinese tennis player spoke out and then she went missing for a little bit?
Yeah, and she came back and she said, it was all a misunderstanding.
Yeah, oops. I wonder if one of these athletes, maybe from America or another country, absolutely just trash China on social media, if they'll kind of be, detained there. I mean, this is a communist country. They are, anything goes, as we've seen in Australia with Novak. So that could
I think they're going to trash it when it's over. I think people are holding their breath and holding their tongues, and they're going to trash when they get back home. I mean, the question is, will the media cover it? NBC's obviously lying to people about these Olympics. They're covering up. They're doing the bidding of the Chinese Communist Party, but everybody knows it's a friggin' disaster. But anyway, I was going to get to Eric Adams, but I should probably wrap this sucker up. Do you want to do Eric Adams, Crown?
You're looking at audio, right? So it's not like the locals will be going away.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, that's true. We're because I don't know, why aren't we doing locals? We're afraid Monty couldn't handle it.
Oh no,
I
we confirmed I couldn't handle it this morning.
Oh, we
We
confirmed.
weren't afraid.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
All right. How's he doing so far, Corona? How's this?
But you got audio. We're playing clips. It all seems to be working fine.
Your fellow unvaxxed heretic. And by the way, I never thought you were in danger because you're not, overweight. But I always say, overweight people, they should get vaxxed. Skinny people, they don't have to get vaxxed. Overweight people, Stacey.
I'm a slim 5'10", 240. I'm no Stacey Abrams.
5'10", 240, and you're not vaxxed? Your mother's right. You should be. You're a vulnerable person, man. You're a high-risk individual. Anyway, I did tease this Eric Adams. It is a couple days old, but it's so amazing. It's so comical. It's so outrageous. I think of people, and it's just me. I think of victims. I think of crime victims. I think of people in the city. These people who own stores that are being looted. These old Asian ladies who are being pushed on railroad tracks or sucker punched, and they get a new police chief, a new police commissioner. A new mayor. A new mayor. I call him police commissioner again because you know what he thinks he is. He thinks he is.
He still acts like it.
He's the mayor / police commissioner, Eric Adams. And he replaces the worst mayor in history, de Blasio. So, he's got that going for him, but it's only been 2 months or a month and a half. And he is awful. He is awful. And he's already been caught with, saying some racial slurs. And he's just seems to be a self-promoter. And he does a press conference and he decides to go off script and say what he wants New Yorkers to do. In the middle of this violent crime wave, he decides he wants them to eat their vegetables. Let's listen to Mayor Eric Adams.
You love your vegan food.
Well, I love healthy food and I love life, and our children should not continually being fed food that's causing their healthcare crisis. Childhood obesity, childhood diabetes, asthma. There's a real correlation to what we serve in the Department of Education every day and what is being served in our hospitals, our jails. We should not be feeding the crisis, and we're going to allow the children to have the option of tasting some good tasting, healthy food. And you know what? They ask for this. They are tired of the food that they're being fed in their schools, and they want healthy options.
I worry about it because it's always like mystery meat. Remember, even when I was growing up,
you didn't even know when that
it was mystery meat at school. But I'm concerned, will it be mystery tofu now on Fridays?
Well, this is not what I'm looking for. This is not what I'm looking for.
Oh, my apologies.
He just flat out says, I want people to live a plant-based centered diet. He wants them to live a plant-based centered diet. He says it over and over again. But
that was a completely different clip. Then my apologies on that. Matt sent me the right one, so that's on him. But
that's on him.
It's no. I'm saying that's on me. My apologies. So as much as I would like to blame Matt for that, that was definitely on me. He did his part.
All right, well, we'll put you to the test. Why don't you drop that in later and drop that in now and we'll post it. We'll have the real clip, the right clip. How's that?
I could do that. 10207. You got that. 102.
You brought up your eating habits. I just want to clarify something. How often do you eat fish, and do you eat any other animal proteins?
I eat a plant-based centered life. Some people want to call me vegan. Vegans eat Oreos and they drink Coca-Cola. I don't. I eat a plant-based centered life. And those who are the food police for me, they can food police all the time. I eat a plant-based centered life.
So you eat fish?
I eat a plant-based centered life. And I'm not going down that. Hold on. Please don't do that yelling out stuff with me. I don't do it to you. Don't do it to me. I eat a plant-based centered life. And I'm not going down this rabbit hole of what do you eat? If you eat cake and it has eggs in it, that you analyze it. I'm not doing that.
Jerry, you know better than me, although I was personally affected by it. This is kind of similar. Remember when Michelle Obama kind of went after the school lunches back in
how were you personally affected by it? Were you in school?
I was a senior. So my first 3 years, we had these cookies. And as someone who's 240, listen, these cookies, Jerry, I wish I could give you guys one. They're unbelievable. And my senior year, they made these changes. We go in, my first day senior year, guess what are gone? Cookies. And they were replaced with carrots and all types of trash. So I've been personally affected by this. My life hasn't been the same.
It doesn't look like it really affected you. If it did, you wouldn't be 240.
This is true. This is true. But no, they're always focused on that. They're going to gaslight you. We got to give these kids vegan food, this, that, the other. But like we touched on earlier, at the same time, wear your mask, and they don't give a damn about their their mental health. So it's all a bunch of nothing.
It's all for show. We all have our scars. When we were growing up, things that affected us, death in the family. Maybe your pet, maybe you got beaten up or bullied. Well, Monty here didn't get his cookies in his senior year, and that's why he hates Michelle Obama.
I should be 250 right now. I should be 250.
Yeah, right. You'd be much happier, more well-adjusted, but you still should get vaccinated. But anyway, let's leave it there for today. How did he do, Carano?
Fine. Playing some audio. Fine. Here we go.
Until the end.
Not always the right audio. We actually should have stopped before that. I should. If I go back in time, I'd say no, we're good here.
I thought, and it's my fault. Actually, Carano wanted to play it 2 days ago, and I didn't get to it. It's such unbelievable sound. I said we got to do it anyway, even it's a little late.
We'll drop.
It's been everywhere. Literally, it's been everywhere, and I can't believe you didn't have it ready. But hey,
drop the ball.
We'll give you. I'll give you a C+. That's pretty good. That's
absolutely.
Pretty good.
I'll sign up for C+. all day long.
We will leave it there. We'll be watching today's White House press briefing when Psaki comes out and waves the white flag. And yes, we will declare victory. We will gloat. We were right. They were wrong. I'm going to say it until the end of time. All these things these people did were just so unnecessary. It's criminal. But I think we're at the brink of prevailing in the end. We win. They're wrong. We're right. And we will leave it there. Thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks to Carano and thanks to Montenegro.
Nailed it. Absolutely. Yeah. Montenegro. Montante. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks you.
I'll take the C+ all day.
And we'll do it again, I'm sure. All right, let's leave it there. I'm Jerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.